Good morning, my dear students. I am Venkat. Welcome to Aniruddha Tutorials. So, this is a quick glance, very fast glance on zoology subject for the NEET entrance examination. In my previous classes, I taught the epithelium and also the connective tissues. In this class, very fastly, I want to complete the muscular tissue. Muscle is generally mesodermal in origin. Why general? Because there are two exceptions. One is the iris muscles of the eye, and the ciliary body of the eye. These two muscles are ectodermal in origin. That is why not all muscles are mesodermal. Most of the muscles are mesodermal because there are two exception cases in the origin of the muscle. That is the iris muscles of the eye and the ciliary muscles of the eye. These two are ectodermal. And coming to the properties of the muscle, characters of the muscle. Muscle is the only one tissue can undergo contraction as well as the relaxation. No other tissue can undergo contraction, only muscle undergoing the contraction as well as the relaxation. This is the very significant property of the muscle, and other properties are: muscle has the elasticity, extensibility, and one more, muscle is excitability, and one more is the conductivity. Upon seeing these properties, excitability and conductivity are not only exhibited by the muscle and also shared by the nerve cell or neuron. Both nerve cell and muscle cell are electrically excitable, and also they can conduct the impulses from the place to place. That is why they can conduct the action potential, and that is why these two properties are shared by both muscle as well as the nerve. And coming to the other properties are: muscle, in the total body weight, muscle weight is 40 to 50 percentage. 40 to 50 percentage of body weight is the muscle weight. It is very important. And muscles are categorized into three types depending upon, very important, please make it underline if you have the textbook, depending upon three criteria. Muscles are classified. One is depending upon the location, second one is the appearance, and one more is the depending upon the mode of regulation of the activities. mode of regulation of the activity. These are the most important three criteria for the classification of the muscle. Therefore, muscles are three types. One is the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and third one is the cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscle is a voluntary muscle. Smooth muscle is the involuntary muscle. And cardiac muscle also involuntary. But skeletal muscle is voluntary but striped, because the bands are present, light band, dark band. Smooth muscle is unstriped. Cardiac muscle also striped. Therefore, striped involuntary is the cardiac muscle. Striped voluntary is the skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle is generally associated to bones. That is why called as the skeletal muscle. Smooth muscle is generally present in the GI tract, gastrointestinal tract, in the respiratory tract, also in the urinogenital tracts. Generally, smooth muscles are present in the ducts. All ducts, like the blood vessels also. The ducts are lined by the smooth muscle. Gastrointestinal tract, respiratory tract, and urinary tracts are lined by the, covered by the, supported by the smooth muscle. Cardiac muscle is generally present in the heart. Heart wall. Heart wall consists of the cardiac muscle. So the other properties are, skeletal muscle is a long cylindrical muscle. Smooth muscle is a fusiform muscle. Cardiac muscle is short cylindrical. And this is the one and only muscle which is a branched muscle. Only muscle which is a branched muscle is the cardiac muscle. The other properties are as follows. The skeletal muscle can undergo contraction and fatigue property. Skeletal muscle can undergo contraction quick. Fatigue also quick. Smooth muscle undergo contraction slowly, but it exhibits the resistance over fatigue. It exhibits the resistance over fatigue. But the cardiac muscle contraction is autorhythmically. Cardiac muscle contraction is autorhythmically without fatigue. Without fatigue. And therefore, in this context, I want to tell you, this is the muscle exhibiting the highest resistance over fatigue. The reason is, why the cardiac muscle exhibiting the highest resistance over fatigue? The reason is, cardiac muscle contains the highest number of mitochondria. highest number of the mitochondria. Therefore, the mitochondria of the muscle is called as the sarcosomes. Therefore, highest number of the sarcosomes are present in the cardiac muscle. Smooth muscle also exhibiting the resistance or the fatigue, but more highest number of the sarcosomes. There are second highest number of sarcosomes are present in the smooth muscle. So comparatively with these two muscles, this contain the less number of mitochondria. Lesser the number of mitochondria, quick will be the fatigue. And this is the muscle undergoing contraction slowly but resistance over the fatigue because it has the number of the mitochondria. But the highest number of the sarcosomes, second highest number of the sarcosomes, least number of the sarcosomes. And coming to the mode of communication of the nervous system. Skeletal muscle receiving the nerves from the somatic nervous system. When it is receiving the nerves from the somatic nervous system, that is why it is called as a voluntary muscle, because somatic nervous system is voluntarily controlled. Hence, the skeletal muscle is a voluntary muscle. Both smooth muscle and the cardiac muscle is receiving the nerves from the autonomous nervous system. Nerves from the autonomous nervous system. And I told you the structural aspect of the skeletal muscle and the smooth muscle and the cardiac muscle. This is the fusiform muscle, long cylindrical muscle, short cylindrical, and also the branched muscle. In this context, I want to tell you very important. Skeletal muscle is a structural syncytial muscle. Why it is a structural syncytium? One muscle fiber of a skeletal muscle contain many nuclei. Generally, multinuclear stage is called as the syncytial. Therefore, one muscle fiber contains the many nuclei, and hence the skeletal muscle is a structural syncytium. But whereas the cardiac muscle, it is the cardiac muscle, short cylindrical and also branched muscle. These are the branches. The most important property of the cardiac muscle is the intercalated discs. These are ICD, intercalated discs are present. I write only ICD to save the time. Intercalated discs are the significant characteristic feature of the cardiac muscle. ICD contain the gap junctions. ICD contain the gap junctions. Cell junctions are three types. One are called the tight junctions, preventing the internal leakage. Desmosomes are anchoring junctions, are making the cementing adherence. And the gap junctions are also called as the communication junctions. They can be called as the communication junctions because the gap junctions are the one and only cell junctions which are allowing the substances, ions, any other chemical from one cell to another cell. That is why they have the communication of the cytoplasm. The two respective cell cytoplasms are communicated because of these gap junctions are allowing. Hence, this is called as the communication junction. When the ICD contain the gap junctions, there is a rapid ionic flow like sodium and potassium because the action potential, because of the voltage gated channels, sodium and potassium voltage gated channels are present in the sarcolemma. That is why very faster sodium potassium are traveling, I mean the permeability occur from the cell to cell. That is why the entire cardiac muscle is working at a time. The total cardiac muscle is working or contracting or relaxing. It is a simultaneous. It's not simultaneous. It is one alternative. For example, if the two atria are contracting, the contraction of the two atria is at a time. Contraction of the two ventricles is at a time, because of the all the nuclei or all the cells are functioning at a time. That is why cardiac muscle is a functional sensation. Cardiac muscle is a functional sensation because all cells are working at a time, because ICD contain the gap junctions. When these gap junctions are allowing the ions rapidly from the cell to cell, it is a cardiac muscle contraction is a wholehearted contraction. Hence, it is called as the functional sensation. Skeletal muscle, as the muscle fiber of the skeletal muscle contain the many nuclei. Hence, it is called as the structural sensation. It is a functional sensation. I think you understood that. And now, without wasting the time, I do want to discuss about the structure of a skeletal muscle. Structure of a skeletal muscle. You know, this is the muscle. For example, a biceps muscle, a skeletal muscle. Not only biceps muscle, triceps muscle, also a skeletal muscle. Okay, for example, this is the biceps muscle. Biceps muscle is a skeletal muscle. Okay, I take it out. Biceps muscle. The muscle is externally covered with a tough connective tissue sheath. I repeat, it is a tough connective tissue sheath over the muscle is called as the epimysium. Epimysium over the muscle. Okay, muscle inside, and this is the cut, and this is the TS of the muscle. Muscle, and this is the muscle. Over the muscle there is a epimysium. Muscle internally contain many number of the fasciculi. These are fasciculi. See this. Fasciculi are present inside the muscle. But if you see this, all fascicles are covered by. Again, this is a tough connective tissue sheath that is called as the perimysium. Perimysium. Below perimysium, fasciculi are present. What is present inside the fascicle? And this is one fascicle. I take it out. This is the fascicle. For example, okay, one fascicle. Over the fascicle, there is a tough connective tissue sheath is called as the perimysium. And the fasciculus, one fascicle contain the many number of the muscle fibers. Therefore, muscle fibers are present inside the fascicle. Therefore, all these muscle fibers are ensheathed or covered by, again, this a tough connective tissue sheath is called as the endomysium. This is endomysium. Again, I repeat, over the muscle epimysium, over the muscle. Muscle contain the many number of the fasciculi. Fascicles are covered by the perimysium. If I take it out one fascicle, each fascicle contains many number of the muscle fibers. Around the muscle fiber, the endomysium is present. Here, I do want to tell you one thing. The various fascicles are, see this. All these are the fascicles. All the fasciculi are internally connected by the connective tissue. The fascicles are connected by the collagenous connective tissue. I wrote only CT. The collagenous connective tissue is called as the fascia. It is most important. Fascicles are internally connected by the collagenous connective tissue is called as the fascia. So muscle, over that muscle epimysium, muscle contain the fasciculi, over the fasciculi perimysium, fasciculi contain the muscle fiber, fibers around that fiber endomysium. You see this, the muscle fiber in the structural organization. I wrote one point very much important, and this is the structure which is going to contract. Muscle fiber undergoes contraction. It is most important. Muscle fiber undergoes contraction as well as the relaxation. This is the structure in the entire hierarchy of the muscle. The structure which is undergoing the contraction is the muscle fiber along with relaxation. Each muscle fiber internally, if I take the one muscle fiber, okay, this is the muscle fiber. For example, this is the muscle fiber, and this sheath over the muscle fiber is called as the endomysium. Endomysium muscle fiber. Each muscle fiber consists of the bundles or parallel bundles are called as the, I write here, there are so many number of the parallel bundles inside the muscle fiber are called as the myofibrils. Myofibrils. These are myofibrils. If I take it out, the myofibril, this is the myofibril. One parallel bundle is the myofibril, and one more myofibril. You see this myofibril, there are so many number of the parallel bundles are myofibril, but this is the structure exhibiting the bands, light band, dark band, light band, dark band, alternatively arranged in the myofibril. That is why skeletal muscle is a banded muscle or a striped muscle. And the myofibril contain, internally myofibril contain the myofilaments. Myofilaments are present inside the fibril. Therefore, the ultimate smallest structures in the muscle are called as the myofilaments. Many filaments forms the fibrils, fibrils forms the fibers, fibers form the fasciculi, many fasciculi are forming the muscle. This is the hierarchy of the muscle. It is very important. It can be asked for the sequential question. Please make it sure. And coming to structure of the myofilaments. In the muscle, myofibril contain the myofilaments. I discuss it now. The myofilaments are of two types. There are two types of the myofilaments. Myofilaments are two types. See this. This is a myofibril. I take it out. This is the myofibril. Each myofibril contain the bands or stripes at the alternative. For example, this is the light band and this is the dark band. Again, this is the light band. Light band, dark band, light band, dark bands are alternatively arranged. See this, this is the myofibril. And the light band can be called as the I band. I band means isotropic band. I band means isotropic band. This is the dark band. Dark band can be called as the A band. A band can be called as the anisotropic band. Anisotropic band. And once again it is the I band. Therefore, I band, A band, I band, light band, dark band, light band. Isotropic, anisotropic are the properties of mu. Mu means the refractive index. It is the refractive index property, light property, same thickness, same as it is isotropic refractive index property. Anisotropic refractive index property. I band, A band, I band, light band, dark band, light band. Therefore, you see this. At the center of the I band, there is a irregular zebra line. It is a jet-shaped line called as the jet line. Jet line actually bifurcating the I band into two halves. Again, this is called as alternative. This is one more jet line. Jet line can be called as the properties of jet line. Jet line can be called as the Dobbe's line. Can be called as the Krause's membrane. Jet line is Krause's membrane, Dobbe's line, and also it is one elastic line. Jet line is elastic, most important. And now this is the A band. A band is bifurcated by one zone. That zone is called as the H zone. Hansen's zone is the H zone. At the center of the H zone, there is one M line. This is the M line. I write the property of the M line. M line is a fibrous line. M line is a membranous fibrous line. Jet line is the elastic line. It is a fibrous line. So I band, A band, and the I band. This is the structure of a myofibril. Fibril contain the myofilaments. I discuss about the myofilaments now. The myofilaments are of two types. Myofilaments are two types. Myofilaments are two. One are called as the thin filaments. Second one are the thick filaments. Thin filaments and thick filaments are two types of the myofilaments. What are they? See this. This is the I band and I band. Thin filaments are present in the entire I band and also extending up to the edge of the H zone. I repeat. This is the thin filament. Thin filament is present in the entire I band and also a part of the A band but excluding the H zone. I think you understood that. Therefore, this is the location of the thin filament. See this, the thick filament is present only in the A band. Thick filament is present only in the A band. Thin filaments are present in the entire I band and also extending into the A band but up to the boundary, up to the edge of the H zone. This is the location of the thin filament and the thick filament. You see this, one thin filament contain, this is one thin filament, I can draw one more thin filament now. This is the thin filament. Okay, up to the boundary, up to the edge of the H zone, this is the thin filament. Okay, one more thick filament I can write. This is another thick filament present only in the A band. So that one thin filament contain two F actins. One thin filament contain two F actins. What is the meaning of F? It is a filamentous protein. Therefore, in the thin filament, F actin is the polymer. F actin is the polymer in the thin filament. It is most important. F actin is the polymer in the thin filament, most important. Therefore, what is the F actin? How the F actin is a polymerized one? What are the monomeric units of the F actin? You say this. This is the G actin, globular protein is G actin. Therefore, monomers of the F actin is the G actin. Polymer is the F actin. See this. This is one more G actin, G actin, G actin. Many globular actins are forming one filament. This is one F actin. The another F actin is like this. Okay, this is one more F actin. This is one more F actin. Therefore, in one thin filament, two F actins are present. I repeat once again, F actin is a polymer. Monomers are the G-actins. One more. In a thin filament, there are two number of the tropomyosins. This is one more protein. Tropomyosin is the another protein. There are two tropomyosins. See this. This is a tropomyosin 1, and this is the another tropomyosin. The number of the effectins are equivalent to that of the number of the tropomyosins. And one more. In one thin filament, there is a complex protein. It is most important. There is a complex protein is called as the troponin. Troponin. What is a complex protein? It is a troponin, because one troponin contains 3 subunits. One unit of the troponin contains 3 subunits. There are 3 subunits in one troponin unit. The subunits are, one is the troponin C, troponin T, and troponin I. C for binding with the calcium. Therefore, troponin C is the subunit of the troponin, reacts with the calcium ions. 1. Troponin T is T meant for the reacting with the tropomyosin. Tropomyosin. And troponin I, it is one inhibitor. It is one inhibitor, inhibits the binding of the myosin head with the active site of the actin. These are the 3 units of a thin filament. In one thin filament, 2 effectins are present, 2 tropomyosins are present. A complex protein is called as the troponin because it has the 3 subunits. And this is all about the thin filament. See this, the thin filament contain the complex proteins are as follows. This is one troponin and one more troponin and one more troponins. But it is very important to know that I tell you one important point. Troponins are present on tropomyosin. I write here, please have a nice look. Troponin are present on tropomyosin. Troponins are present on tropomyosin. And it's all about the thin filament. And coming to the thick filament. Before I start the thick filament, in the thin filament, one more important point is both troponin and tropomyosins are, I remove this because it is disturbing me. In a thin filament, both troponin and tropomyosin are called as the regulatory proteins. Important regulatory units. It is very important. Why troponin tropomyosins are regulatory proteins or regulatory units? Because the troponin tropomyosins, they can mask and unmask. This is the active site of the effectin. You see this? This is the active site of the effectin, and that active site can be masked or closed with the help of the troponin tropomyosin, and they can be unmasked. Can be masked and can be unmasked by the troponin tropomyosin. That is why the troponin tropomyosins are called as the regulatory units or regulatory proteins in the thin filament. It is very important. Therefore, coming to the thick filament, the thick filament contain, I write here, I show you the structure of the thin filament. One thick filament contain many myosins, as many as 200 to approximately 250 number of the myosins are present. Myosin, etc. In the thick filament, myosin is the polymer. Myosin is the polymer in the thick filament. In the thin filament, effectin is a monomer whose effectin is the polymer whose monomers are called the G-actins. In the thick filament, myosin is the polymer, but what is the monomer? Each myosin contains the meromyosins. Meromyosin is the monomer of the myosin. Monomer of the myosin. I repeat, myosin is a polymer, meromyosin is a monomer. In this context, I want to tell you, myosin is the contractile protein. It is most important, undoubtedly. Myosin is the contractile protein of muscle. Myosin is the contractile protein of the muscle. And the another point to be remembered here, myosin is a motor protein. Don't say motor unit, it is another thing. In the muscle, the motor protein is the myosin. Why it is a, that for example, it is my assertion, myosin is a motor protein. The reason is myosin can convert the chemical energy into the mechanical energy. That is why, where ATP chemical energy is converted into the mechanical energy, hence myosin is a motor protein, myosin is a contractile protein, and myosin is the polymer and whose monomers are called the meromyosins. I show you the structure of a meromyosin now. The structure of the meromyosin is as follows. Meromyosin is as follows. This is the meromyosin. For example, this is the H zone and M line, fibrous line, and this is the tail of the meromyosin. Tail of the meromyosin. Okay. Next one. This is the neck. Neck can be called as the short arm. Short arm is the neck, and last part is the head. This is the head of the meromyosin. Head of the meromyosin. Upon seeing the structure of a meromyosin, all tails are towards M line. Important property. All tails are towards M line and all heads are towards the Z line. It is important. And seeing this head has the two binding sites. I repeat, active sites are pertaining to the effectin. Active site name, the terminology of the active site is for the actin, effectin. Binding site terminology is for the myosin. Don't be confused. Therefore, this is one binding site and this is the another binding site, and this is the binding site with the, okay, this is the binding site for the binding of, and the binding site for the active sites of actin. It is the binding site for the binding of active site of the actin. For example, if you say this is the active site of the effectin, this is the active site of effectin, and this is the myosin head, and this is the binding site. This binding site is binding to the active site. Active site terminology is for the effectin, binding site is for the myosin. I think you understood this. Next one, there is one more binding site, and this is the ATP binding site. And this is not only the ATP binding site, and also the ATPase enzyme binding site. Both ATP binding site and the ATPase binding site. Therefore, the meromycin is the monomer of the polymer myosin. If you see the meromycin, head, neck and tail. Neck is called as the short arm, but head plus neck, I write here, head plus neck is called as the cross arm. Head plus neck is called as the cross arm. All heads are towards the Z line. All tails are towards the M line. Here, I want to tell you one important point. If you see the skeletal muscle structure in a mammal, there is a triad system. Please listen to me very carefully. What is a triad system in the mammals? Triad system in the mammals. Triad system in the mammals is formed at A-I junction. A band, I band junction. At the A-I band junction, triad system is formed. If you see, this is the sarcolemma. This is the sarcolemma. For example, this is the I band, A band, and the another I band. I band, A band, and I band. Light band, dark band, light band. And it should be the junction, AI junction. Therefore, this sarcolemma undergoes invagination. You see this? There is an invagination of the sarcolemma. There is an invagination of the sarcolemma like this. At the AI junction, sarcolemma invaginates. I repeat, at the AI junction, sarcolemma invaginates, forming a tubule is called as the T-tubule. A transverse tubule. A T-tubule flanked either side by a pair of the terminal cisternae. These are the terminal cisterna. Again, these are the terminal cisterna. Again, these are the terminal cisterna. Is called as the triad. Therefore, one triad is formed by three structures, one T-tubule and a pair of terminal cisterna. A pair of terminal cisterna or cisternae. 1 plus 2 is equals to 3 structures. What is the significance of the terminal cisterna? Inside the terminal cisternae, they are nothing but the modification of the endoplasmic reticulum. Cisternae are modification. They are one structures of the endoplasmic reticulum. Therefore, terminal cisternae are helping for the storage of, these are the storage factors or the storage house of the calcium ions. Terminal cisternae are the reservoirs of the calcium ions. With this, the triad system is completed. Therefore, I want to tell you the last point regarding the skeletal muscle structural aspect. Here, you see this last point. Okay, this is the myofibril and this is the and H zone, and this is the M line, this is the Z line, Dobbe's crosses, Z line, Dobbe's crosses. Okay, I want to tell you one more important. The distance between the two respective Z lines, two regular Z lines is called as the sarcomere, which is a functional unit of muscle contraction. This is a functional unit of the muscle contraction, is the sarcomere. So this is the thick filament. present only in the A band. And this is the thin filament, they can be extended up to the boundary or edge of the H zone. For example, this is one more thin filament in this context. Very important point is the edges of the thin filament partially overlap the free ends of the thick filament, but leaving the central portion of the A band, and that central portion of the A band is called as the H zone. I repeat once again, this terminology should be very clear. I repeat, the edges of the thin filament partially overlap the free ends of the thick filament, but excluding the central part of the A band is called as the H zone. Therefore, the meaning of the H zone is when the muscle is under resting condition. When the muscle is under resting condition, the edges of the thin filaments are partially overlapping the free ends of the thick filament, but leaving the central portion of the A band is called as H zone. Normally, H zone should contain only the thick filaments, but when the muscle is under the resting condition. I think you understood the entire muscle structure, and in the next class I brief very fastly about the muscle contraction. Thank you for listening to my class. Thank you.